The inspiration behind the Taking Control of Chronic Pain retreat that we run at the Quest for Life Centre in Bundanoon has really come about both through a long personal history of living with chronic pain, but also working with many thousands of people with cancer and with other kinds of illnesses who experience chronic pain, and developing some tools and some skills and strategies that really make a significant difference to people when they live with chronic pain. The real difference, I think, in the programs that we conduct at the Quest for Life Centre is that when you're with a group of people who all have their own experience of living with chronic pain, we find that people learn so much from one another, and that the shared experience of a lot of the subtleties around living with chronic pain, for instance, oftentimes we bring patterns of behaviour to our own situation with pain. For instance, I know myself, I spent 3 years in hospital as a teenager and having many surgeries to my legs, and have had chronic pain with my legs for many, many years. But one of my patterns is that I want to be a really good patient. So I don't want to complain because people might get sick of me being in pain, that I feel like I need to really try harder to not be a complainer. And so if you have some of these patterns, they can really get in the way of how you feel about your own pain, and then also your willingness to reach out for assistance and help. So when we have a program here, it means that you're in the company of other people who really understand a lot of the subtleties, a lot of the emotional journey around living with chronic physical pain. And it's also an incredible resource because people have tried, alternative therapies, complementary therapies, they've tried drug therapies, they've tried acupuncture, massage, reflexology, millions of different kinds of ways of meeting the pain that they're in and really finding some help for that. And so it's a wonderful learning environment. And also the residential aspect of the program makes a significant difference. When you're around the table having a meal with people, an awful lot happens at those times when people are sharing their experiences with one another. And also the environment that we have here is incredibly nurturing and supportive, in that we've got, chairs that are straight up so that people who need to be in a chair with arms so that they can get out of the chair. We have a couple of day beds that we often slide into the circle so that those that need to lie down for the program can do so. We have softer, more comfortable lounge chairs for people who don't have any difficulty getting out of chairs. So I think it's really important that the physical environment that people are in is very conducive to making them as comfortable as possible. We also have a team that work on our programs so that it's not just one person delivering the program. We have 2 facilitators who are working on the program, and a third who has a lot of experience in gentle movement and yoga that can be very helpful for people when they've been living with chronic pain. So to find the kinds of movements that will work with a particular body. And we also have a support person who's there just really to make sure that people's physical and emotional needs are met and that they get the food that they need and they find a pillow. And so there's a great deal of nurturing and support that happens on those programs, excuse me, so that people feel that they're in an environment in which they can let go and relax and focus a little bit more on the psychological and emotional strategies that they might bring to the experience of being in physical chronic pain.
The Quest for Life program that I did recently was called Taking Control of Your Pain. And it was actually my second time at Quest, and it was the perfect time to go for me. I felt so lucky that they were offering this course, this program. I found it extremely helpful, even though I'd done some chronic pain programs in the past. and feel like over the 6 and 7 year journey that I've had, I've learned quite a lot about pain and chronic pain. However, Quest just had a different angle, and the fact that we were there for 5 days, we were amongst a group of people who were and had experienced the same challenges, and it was a very just a wonderful group of people, and the fact that Patria King had also experienced chronic pain in her life also lent a different dimension as a facilitator for us. We learned a lot about the science and the way the body works, and ways that latest research basically that tells us about pain and how it works in the body, but also ways of actually physically changing that chemical structure in your body. And one example was through meditation. And I'd learnt about meditation for a few years now, but having that solid scientific evidence now that it actually changes the chemical structure in your body and produces those wonderful hormones that help to lessen your pain is really valuable. And it was an absolutely fantastic week, and I felt I gained so much from it. And I just would encourage anyone who's thinking they need some help, they need some fluffing up, they need some care, and to help to turn that corner in your pain journey, I thoroughly recommend it.
So when I walked in at Quest, the first thing you notice is that it's a warm environment, everybody's caring and smiling at you and caring, all these sorts of things. And because I couldn't sit in a chair at that stage, they had a day bed set up for me so that I was able to lie down while they did the first welcome in with everybody there. And my stepmom brought me in and set me up and everything, and then she was off, and then we started on our first meeting. And during the meditations and learning about myself and learning my triggers, what triggered my pain, what triggered my stress, and then how to manage it, by day 3 I was able to sit with everybody and have breakfast rather than being in my room or by myself and lying down to eat. And then the following day I could sit for each meal and be a part of the group and feel like I'm actually getting to share this experience with everybody there, you know. And then I learnt so many different things. And there's some things that you might have heard before, or those sorts of things, but it really puts into perspective how to use the tools and the information that's around, and with you, Coralie, learning how to use our doctors and getting them to work together and figuring out what questions to ask. You know, when we're at a doctor's surgery, you know, I'm going to see all these different specialists and things, because I was somebody who just didn't speak up for myself originally, but through Quest and yourself learnt that, you know, I'm entitled to do that, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, the fact that I could, on day 3, I think, or even the second day, I was walking in and walking around with my walking stick, and then it got to the stage where I could walk 10 metres or more without my stick at all, you know. And it's just, in the space of that 5 days that was there, compared to the 5 months previous, I made more progress in that 5 days than I had in the 5 months before I turned up. It was wonderful. Okay, this is me up and turning around, and it's wonderful.
This is a girl who could not sit.
I couldn't sit.
This is a girl who had to lie down to do anything.
Yeah.
All right. On behalf of Chronic Pain Australia, I'd like to say thank you very, very much for being prepared to share your story and inspire others. I'm sure you're going to be inundated with questions after this program. And well done. Congratulations.
No. Well, thank you to Quest and yourself for changing my life and helping me get my life back on track. Awesome.
Our pleasure, our great pleasure and our great privilege. Thank you.